Thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
The United Nations General Assembly is set to convene in 2 weeks' time, and rumors are swirling that President Trump will be taking the opportunity to reboot Israeli-Palestinian peace talks. The American president will meet privately before the assembly with both Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Palestinian Authority President Abbas, his first talks with them since May. The White House is hopeful about its latest push for peace following the envoy led by Jared Kushner to the region a few weeks ago. While a formal peace plan still needs to be drawn up, which could happen by the end of the year, Kushner's team returned from their Middle East tour feeling encouraged. That's because they were apparently able to sway the Palestinians to remain involved with the talks and coordinated with both Jordan and Saudi Arabia to convince President Abbas that Trump was taking the peace talks seriously. Indeed, Trump campaigned on his promise to land the, quote, ultimate deal between Israel and the Palestinians, and visited the region personally last May to meet with leaders from both sides. Now it looks like he'll be having more one-on-ones both before and after the United Nations convenes its General Assembly later this month. This will be President Trump's first meeting with Netanyahu and Abbas since the progress made by Kushner's peace envoy, so we'll just have to wait and see if the ultimate deal is truly on the way. The investigation into corruption surrounding a multi-billion-dollar agreement for German submarines is making headlines again this week, as Zvi Hauser, former government cabinet secretary from 2009 to 2013, and Shalom Shlomo, a former Netanyahu advisor, have now given their testimony to police. This case, known as Case 3000, has to do with alleged bribery and corruption in regards to alleged preferential treatment while acquiring submarines from German company ThyssenKrupp. David Shimron, who was Prime Minister Netanyahu's lawyer, as well as Miki Ganor, who represented ThyssenKrupp in Israel and turned state witness, have also been questioned by the Lahav 433 investigations unit. What's interesting, though, is that the list of those implicated continues to grow, and all on the list have some sort of connection to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Regardless, Netanyahu has not as of yet been charged with anything in connection to Case 3000, nor is he currently a suspect. He has also continued to deny any involvement in the deal. Bad news for Israeli sports fans, as Israel has just been bumped out of 2 major international competitions. First, Israel was eliminated by Italy in the World Cup soccer qualifier round 1-0. Ciro Immobile scored the only goal of the match in Reggio Emilia, Italy. In a separate but possibly more upsetting game, though, Israel was also knocked out of contention in the Eurobasket European Basketball Championship last night. After a thrilling game that was even pushed to overtime at 89-89, the team from Georgia pulled ahead by 13 points and ended all of Israel's hopes to continue in the tournament. The next 2 Eurobasket elimination rounds are to take place in Turkey. The I.D.F. again conducted overnight raids last night and this morning, resulting in major arrests and a weapons factory being found and shut down. Nearby, in a separate raid, a makeshift gun was also found. The factory was found in Araba and is alleged to have been used to create weapons used in terror attacks on civilians and security services in Israel. In the nearby city of Al-Mughayr was where the makeshift firearm was found. Throughout the raids, 13 arrests were also made across the West Bank, 9 of which, as well as thousands of shekels and a car, are all allegedly in connection to terror attacks and funding. With the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Harvey still unloading on communities all over the Gulf Coast, Floridians are bracing themselves for Hurricane Irma, the most powerful Atlantic storm ever on record. Now the Israeli embassy has just pitched in to help, sending several tons of aid to help victims in Houston and Louisiana who lost their homes. IsraAid has been on the ground in Houston since the storm unleashed its deadly force all over the coast, and just yesterday the Israeli government revealed a $1 million aid package to help the ravaged Jewish community get back on its feet. This latest aid package, though, is coming straight from the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., partnering up with IsraAid and an American-Israeli moving company called Movers 495 to coordinate tons of aid packages to victims of Hurricane Harvey. A message on the aid boxes reads, "Israel stands with Texas." Meanwhile, the second and fast-approaching storm has just entered history books. The Category 5 Hurricane Irma is officially the most powerful storm ever recorded in the Atlantic, and unfortunately it's heading straight for South Florida. The governor of Florida has already announced a state of emergency, with millions of Floridians preparing to evacuate. South Florida residents are pretty used to hurricanes by now and typically ride out the storms inside their homes, but even seasoned Floridians are worried that Irma might be the beast of a totally different nature.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.